The thing that has excited me the most, I'm a transplanted infectious disease doctor at heart, so a lot of the transplant infectious disease work that's been presented at the meeting really has been amazing. The number of attendees coming to the transplant infectious disease sessions has been gigantic. I mean, basically, I just came from a session of cases in Transplant ID, and the room was so full they had an overflow room that also was overflowing with people. So clearly, it's an area of interest. In the one session yesterday, it was also interesting that the majority of people that were there were not dedicated transplant infectious disease physicians, but people that probably see it in their general practice on the side. And I think probably the biggest takeaway that I've learned from this entire meeting is that we're getting away with shorter and shorter courses of antibiotics, which makes it better for patients to tolerate and less risk of resistance emergence in those individuals.
So in terms of ID Week, the things that I've been most excited to hear about are the new antimicrobials that are coming out. So I did go to the antibiotic pipeline talk, and I was tweeting about it, and I was looking at some of these drugs and already thinking about where can I use them, which patients would benefit most from them, how would I ensure optimal use of these new agents as they come out. That's going to be a lot of education for different providers. So I'm really glad to see that there's this renewed interest in antimicrobial drug development and discovery, and I want to continue to encourage folks to bring those drugs to market, and then hopefully we clinicians can partner with them to help ensure that we're stewarding use of those appropriately, because they really are a public trust.
Well, I love going to the symposia. I love the challenging case symposia. The transplant ID sessions, I think, have been terrific, and I have been doing this for 40 years, maybe a little longer, and I always go home charged up after coming to these meetings. They're always fun, they're always exciting, and so I'm still having a good time.
There have been other sessions on Candida auris. I'm actually seeing a number of them on the agenda for this conference. Certainly there is a lot of interesting data coming out of New York State about Candida auris epidemiology, some of the resistance issues they've seen, and about treating Candida auris. So I recommend checking those out.
ID Week is such a great conference. There's so much going on and so much to see and so many experts. There's a lot of antimicrobial stewardship, which is great to see. We have a lot of presentations here from our group on antimicrobial resistance. A lot of the antifungal work has been interesting. Mihalis Leonakis just gave a great talk on small molecules and how that can predispose individuals to Candida infections, which is really groundbreaking and really interesting. So it's great to see all of this research.
My biggest takeaway is that the future is bright for infectious diseases. I do a lot through education, through IDSA and SHEA. So meeting the future ID physicians and researchers has been promising, and all the new technology for diagnostics and therapeutics I think is very encouraging, and that goes for the entire field of infectious diseases, not just antibiotic stewardship. So I'm always very encouraged and inspired when I leave these meetings.
Honestly, I would say my biggest takeaway isn't any specific piece of information I've learned in particular, but really it's just how dynamic the field of ID is and what an exciting area of developing research and medical progress it is. And I'm very excited to be a part of it as a trainee starting my new career. And I'm excited to see what comes forward in the coming years.
The thing I wanted to highlight is that this week is Fungal Disease Awareness Week at CDC, and so we're really encouraging everyone to think fungus. And there have been a lot of great fungal sessions at ID Week already, some that we've been involved in, but really highlighting some emerging pathogens like Candida auris and some of the other work that's out there. So I'm really excited to work with my colleagues from all over the country to encourage people to think fungus and have that at the forefront.
Yeah, I've been chatting with so many people from around the world who have never heard about this topic, and they're really intrigued, and I'm really excited to share my finding, and it has been really wonderful to talk to ID doctors, clinicians, transplant doctors, epidemiologists from everywhere to sort of brainstorm about this issue and whether they're seeing it in their centers and things like that. So that has been really exciting.